lips close to mine.
Well, in 2005, fall of 2005. At this point, my friend Brad Russell had moved to Cincinnati. He started a family and was living up there, and we would still email back and forth quite a bit, just talking about music or whatever. And he said, I want to write some songs together, and he'd never brought that up before. And I thought, well, okay, I've never done that, like co-written stuff. Sure. I was like, well, you're in Cincinnati. So for my birthday, my brother Jeremy had bought me a 4-track, my first 4-track, hot pink 4-track. And I was kind of figuring it out. And I didn't have my own computer at that point. I was hesitant about technology. And Brad definitely didn't have a computer. So we FedExed this 4-track back and forth for 3 months, writing songs. Packed it in a box.
In 2005, 2006?
Yes.
That's late in the game.
It is real late in the game, but it's so appropriate for both of us. If you knew both of us, you would say, yeah, that's not surprising. But it worked out. One of my best songs I've ever had a hand in came out of that.
Yeah.
So we got a couple songs together, and we decided we wanted to record them. And I knew a guy who had this guy, Jason Dodson, who's a musician in town. He had a little step above a home recording studio, and he recorded onto tape, which Brad and I liked.
Yeah.
We're like, ooh, let's record onto tape, because we're dealing with a 4-track, of course. So Brad comes down for Christmas for the holidays because his family is here. So I said, well, we'll do it then. And then he decided he wanted to have drums. So Jason Dodson recommended Nick Jenkins. He's like, I play this guy every now and then. He's a real nice guy. You should meet him, and he might dig what you're doing. So I met Nick, and I kind of played some stuff and played him the 4-track tapes. It's like, this is what we're thinking. And Nick said, sure. So right around Christmas, like I guess it might have been a couple days after, we recorded these 2 or 3 songs. And then Brad went back to Cincinnati. And Nick and I said, well, that was a lot of fun. You want to play again? You want to play together? And he's like, sure. So he said, well, let's fill out the band, drums and guitar.
Sure.
So he knew a guy named Michael Hanf who played vibraphone. And at this point, I was really into a big Tom Waits phase.
Okay.
And Michael also played a lot of percussion. He was actually a background and drummer. And he played a lot of found instrument percussion, which I loved. I thought, ooh, here we go. And it's funny because when we first started rehearsing, I kept trying to nudge Michael towards the percussion and not the vibraphone. I wasn't sold on that yet. It had such a...
But you had a drummer, right?
Yeah, but I liked just the whole rhythm.
A drummer and another
percussion.
percussionist.
Yeah, I just like a wall of rhythm. But Nick kept us on track. He kept, redirecting Mike back to the vibraphone. Like, look, you've got this beautiful instrument here, and this guy who can actually play it.
Yeah.
Keep your eye on the ball, Holler. So we found a guitar player. Again, this was like, these guys were younger than me. They were a lot younger than me, like 10 years younger than me. So this was almost a different generation. And they had some mutual friends, a bass player, his name was Ben Wells, and then a guitar player, his name was David Linneberg. So we all got together, and we all had very different backgrounds, but it worked. This was the first time I'd ever felt like I was in a situation where, wow, the personalities all gelled really well,
right.
And the creativity was off the charts. And yeah, that was definitely I will attribute that to the first, in every way. Even just like dealing with band stuff and, the other stuff outside of music. And my first tour I ever went on was with these guys. So, there were a lot of firsts with that band.